rare flavor with tequila. Made to be different. Desperados.
I used to care for the world's opinion. I used to beg for validation. But the fire that burned in me was hotter, and the passion that lived in me had a voice of its own. So I stopped waiting and started to act. I stopped fearing and started to live. And when they thought I would fail, I stepped into my power.
Because my time is now.
Amstel Malta, be your best.
Enjoy Maltina in vanilla and pineapple. Maltina, share happiness.
At the core of what we do, we are proudly Nigerian. Innovative, resilient, driven by empathy, and very big on sustainability. We work hard, but play even harder. With a robust portfolio of 19 brands providing enjoyment to our teeming consumers. We have consistently introduced new methods of operations, brands, and variants, listening to feedback and satisfying our ever-changing customer base. It has been an exciting journey since we rolled out the first Star Lager bottle, Shine Shine Bobo, from our first brewery in Egamo, Lagos, and delivered a year later the iconic Star commercial. Today, we have our footprints across the country with 9 state-of-the-art breweries and 1 malting plant, 2 distribution centers, and 20 depots, all creating more than 279,000 jobs, whilst partnering with thousands of distributors and transporters. We have been recognized both locally and internationally, receiving hundreds of awards for excellent product quality, marketing excellence, productivity and innovation, the capital market, health and safety protocols, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and so much more. It's time for us to celebrate being here for 75 wonderful years. Bringing excitement to our customers of different tastes and flavors, giving life, being an Omoluebi, sharing happiness with unique flavors infused with malt, taking our seat as the chairman, and shining ever bright nationwide. Our marketing sponsorships and programs have been iconic, from Gouda Ultimate Search to the Maltina Dance Hall, refreshing and constantly engaging our teeming consumers. We are constantly on the journey to winning with Nigeria, expanding our portfolios and footprints across the country. Always conscious of the environment, we have created solar-powered factories in our breweries and play major roles in the establishment of ancillary businesses. Which provide our raw and packaging materials. From the sorghum farmers to manufacturers of bottles, cans, labels, crown corks, pet resins, cottons, shrink wrappers. We are truly touching the lives of hundreds of thousands of Nigerians and supporting their hard work. We are a major part of the Nigerian economy, generating over 100 billion naira in economic-wide taxes and over 300 billion naira in economic-wide value. We are relentless in our desire for a better Nigeria, having corporate social responsibility initiatives spanning the areas of education like the Maltina Teacher of the Year Award, the environment, water, youth empowerment, talent development, entertainment, sports, and
This, let me formally ask for your permission. Permission agreed. Agreed. Thank you very much. That's why I'm the chairman. I should sit on the chair. Thank you. Thank you very much. My esteemed shareholders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the 76th Annual General Meeting, AGM, of our great company, which has been duly convened and properly constituted. I hope that you all and your respective families are continuing to stay safe and remaining healthy. This AGM comes on the heels of the 75th anniversary of this great country of ours, of the company. I would like to appreciate our eminent shareholders for the consistent, their steadfast and continuous support for the board, management, and all other employees of the company through the years. Prior to the recent announcements by the federal government of changes to the preventive measures relating to the COVID-19 pandemic, the company obtained the approval of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, to hold this AGM by proxy in accordance with the CAC's guidelines on holding of annual general meetings of public companies using proxies, CAC guidelines. The company also obtained the approval of CAC to include the 3 special business items as part of the agenda for this AGM. With the recent relaxation of the preventive measures, we are hopeful of a return to normalcy very soon, including reemergence of fully physical AGMs. I look forward to that. May I call on our registrar, Force Registrars and Investor Services Limited, represented here today by Mr. Yaya Lawal, to quickly inform us of the number of proxy forms received for these AGM.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, the Chairman, the Board of Directors, esteemed shareholders, the regulators, the gentlemen of the press, and other stakeholders. We have received 197 valid proxy forms with the total shareholdings of 5,113,980,681. This represents 63.32% of the paid-up capital of Nigerian Breweries Plc. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawal. This AGM is being streamed live to shareholders and other relevant stakeholders who are not physically present. This to enable them follow the proceedings here this morning. Please be informed that microphones and amplifying equipment are being used for a clear recording and broadcast of the proceedings. I will therefore request members to please speak clearly into the microphone whenever you make a point or you have cause to second a motion. We have a full agenda, and it might be helpful to explain that you have the opportunity to second each motion put to the meeting. There will be an opportunity for questions to be taken on that particular motion, but only before the vote on it is taken. Please be informed that the Register of Directors' Holdings is available for inspection during the meeting in accordance with Section 301, subsection 8 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, herein referred to as CAMA. Information in that regard is further contained in item 14, page 24 of the annual report and accounts. I think it's there, if you want to have a quick look. Also, in accordance with Section 284, subsection 2 of CAMA, the record of directors' attendance at board meetings is available for inspection at this meeting. It's also there. The information is further contained in item 21A on page 27 of the annual report and accounts. I will now introduce the directors physically present at this meeting. On my immediate right is Mr. Hans Esadi, our Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, and one of the proxies for this meeting. He joined the board effective 31st July 2021. Next to him is Mrs. Adeyinka Aroyewum, an independent non-executive director. Is also a proxy for this meeting. Thank you. Next to her is Mr. Rob Klenjan, our finance director, and also a proxy for this meeting. Is our Chancellor of the Exchequer. Next to him is Mr. Sip Hemstra, a non-executive director. Thank you very much for coming. Next to Mr. Roland Primex, and next, to my left is Mr. Roland Primex, a non-executive director, and Heineken Regional President for Africa, Middle East, and Eastern Europe. Amen. You could see he has a long portfolio. Next to him is Mr. Asue Godalo, a non-executive director and also a proxy to this meeting. He joined the board effective from 1st of January this year, 2022. Next to Asue is Mrs. Yelis Yekadeza, a non-executive director and the AME Regional Finance Director. It's a finance guru. She joined the board effective 1st of April this year. I now come to myself. People call me Kola Jamodu. I'm a commander of the Federal Republic. I'm your non-executive chairman. Thank you. To my immediate left is our distinguished company secretary, Uaboy Akpegako. Growing fast. The other directors of the company who are joining us virtually are Mrs. Juliet Anama, independent non-executive director. She was appointed to the board effective 1st January 2022. Mrs. Ndidi Wunele, a member of the Federal Republic, independent non-executive director, also joining virtually. Mrs. Ifueko Omoguya Koru, member of the Federal Republic, a non-executive director, also joining. For more on the profile of each of the board members, please see pages 10 and 11 of the 2021 annual report and accounts already in your possession. Audit committee members, members of the audit committee who served during the year under review were shareholders representative Chief Timothy Adesina, Chairman of the committee. That's him there. And also one of the proxies for this meeting. Mr. Mazi Samuel Mpamogo, and Mr. David Oguntoye. Directors representatives, Mrs. Ifueko Mogui Okaru and Mr. Stephen Zimmer. He resigned from the board effective 31st of March 2022 after a very, very distinguished service to the group. Independent auditor, the firm of Deloitte and Touch acted as an independent auditor. The firm is being represented here by Mr. Folorunsho Honga. Your hunger is H-U-N-G-A when I say hunger. I not get them right? Great. Not hunger. We also have in our midst the representatives of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mr. Adewonyi Adeyemi. Thank you very much for coming. Mr. Bonaventure Wuje will be joining online. Corporate Affairs Commission informed us that they will be observing the proceedings via the live broadcast. But I want to thank him for being here and being represented by Mrs. Abiba Diko. Thank you very much. You are very much welcome. We have already seen Mr. Yaya Lawal, the representative of Force Registrars and Investor Services Limited. Another round of applause for him, please. The other proxies appointed for this meeting are Mr. Matthew Akinlade, Mr. Nona Awo, Mrs. Bisi Bakare. She'll be joining us soon. We'll clear the road for her. Never mind. Okay. Alhaja Sarata Balogun will be joining. Sarata, I like your regalia. Ramadan Karim. Ramadan Karim, I don't get them. Mr. Obina Michael Nwosu will be joining us very shortly. I'm told he's held up with some traffic. Mrs. Shade Morgan, Corporate Affairs Director. Thank you very much. Mr. Marcus. Boniface. I will do that. I will do that later. I will do that later. He will fight me. Where's Miss Alima Afegua. is our compliance manager, and we are very, very compliant. We don't, you know. Thank you very much. Mr. Boniface Okezie, shall we give a round of applause for him again? Thank you very much for coming and for your support always. He's a proxy. Be kindly informed that the chairman's address is on pages 17 to 20 of the annual report on accounts. With your kind permission, do we take it as read? Take it as read then? Okay, thank you. I now call on the company secretary to read the notice of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The notice of meeting is on page 15 of the annual report and account. And I read, notice is hereby given that the 76th annual general meeting of Nigerian Breweries Plc, the company, will be held in the Grand Banquet Hall, Civic Center, Ozumbambadiwe Road, Victoria Island, Lagos State, today, Friday, 22nd April 2022, at 10 a.m. for the following purposes. A, ordinary business. Item number 1, to lay before the meeting the financial statement for the year ended the 31st of December 2021, and the reports of the directors, the independent auditor, and the audit committee. Item number 2, to declare a dividend. Item number 3, to elect and re-elect directors, including Chief Kolawole B. Jamodu, who is over 70 years old. Special notice to that effect having been received by the company in accordance with Section 282 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Number 4, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the independent auditor. Item number 5, to elect members of the audit committee. Item number 6, to disclose the remuneration of the managers. The special businesses are item number 7, to fix the remuneration of the directors. 8, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company. That is, that the general mandate given to the company to enter into recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, including, amongst others, the procurement of goods and services on normal commercial terms, be and is hereby renewed. Item number 9, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company, which is that the following proposals by the directors be and they are hereby approved. 1, that shareholders entitled to receive cash dividend in respect of the financial year ended 31st December 2021 be offered a right of election to receive ordinary shares in the company, new ordinary shares that is, instead of cash dividends, and that such new ordinary shares be credited as fully paid, which, when issued, shall rank pari passu in all respects with the company's existing ordinary shares. 2, that the election to receive ordinary shares instead of cash dividends shall have been exercised on or before the 12th of April 2022. 3, that the new ordinary shares to be received by shareholders shall be determined by their cash dividend entitlement divided by a reference share price, which reference share price shall be the 10-day average of the company's closing share price on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, starting on the 10th of March 2020. B, that further to the above approval, the directors be and they are hereby authorized to allot to shareholders who elected to receive ordinary shares in the company in lieu of cash dividends such number of new ordinary shares as shall be determined by the directors in the manner aforesaid, and C, that the directors be and they are hereby authorized to take all necessary steps to give effect to the above resolutions, and that all steps already taken by the directors in that regard be and they are hereby ratified. The notice of meeting is dated the 16th of April 2022, and by order of the board, it is signed by me, Waboy Agbebaku Esquire, your humble company secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very much. Thank you very much, Waboy Agbebaku. Item 1 on the agenda is to lay before the meeting the financial statements for the year ended 31st of December 2021 and the reports of the directors, the independent auditor, and the audit committee. I hereby lay before you I hereby lay before you the financial statements, director's report, and the reports of the independent auditor and that of the audit committee. Before we take questions or comments on the report and accounts, I will call on the independent auditor and the audit committee to present their respective reports. Mr. Folonsho Honga, a partner in the firm of Deloitte and Touch, to present the independent auditor's report.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Chairman and distinguished shareholders. Like the chairman said, my name is Folorunso Hunga, and like he also said, it's H-U-N-G-A, not G-E-R. Okay, the report of the auditors will be found on page 50, 51, and 52. So it's a 3-page document, and I would like to crave the indulgence of the chairman to read a few paragraphs instead of going through every word in the opinion. Your approval, sir. And the shareholders, and the distinguished shareholders. Okay, I hereby request that the distinguished shareholders here present permit me to summarize the audit report. Thank you. So like I said, the opinion is on page 50. Independent Auditor's Report to the shareholders of Nigerian Breweries Plc. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statements of Nigerian Breweries Plc and its subsidiaries, the group and the company, set out on pages 53 to 125, which comprise the consolidated and separate statements of financial position as at 31 December 2021, and the consolidated and separate statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, consolidated and separate statements of changes in equity, and consolidated and separate statements of cash flows for the year then ended. The notes to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, The consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Nigerian Breweries Plc as at 31 December 2021, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, and the Financial Reporting Act. So our opinion is not qualified. Key audit matters. I'll draw the attention of all shareholders to one key audit matter that we reported on, which is on returnable packaging materials. It will be found on page 51 for noting. And page 52, a report on other legal and regulatory requirements, the last part of it. In accordance with the Companies and Allied Matters Act, we expressly state that 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2, the group has kept proper books of account so far as appears from our examination of those books. 3, the group and company's financial position and its statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of account and returns. Signed on 17th of February 2022 on behalf of Deloitte and Touche by Chigozie Okoro. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I will give him a round of applause again. Thank you, Mr. Folonsho Unga. Thank you. In accordance with the provisions of CAMA, members of the Audit Committee met in the course of the year to, amongst others, examine the reports of the independent auditor, and the chairman of the committee is here today to present their report. I now call on Chief Timothy Adesina to present the committee's report. You want the microphone? You are chairman of the committee, not chairman of the meeting.
The chairman, Chief Kolawole B. Jamadu, CFR, distinguished and ever-listening, dynamic, and diligent board of directors, fellow shareholders, both present and those watching the proceedings of this 75th annual general meeting of Nigerian Breweries online, I say good morning. My name is Chief Timothy Ayobami Adesina, and I'm presenting the Audit Committee report of our great company, Nigerian Breweries, to you. I will therefore appreciate all of us to open to page 48 of this beautifully designed annual report. I read as follows. The members of Nigerian Audit Committee report to the members of Nigerian Breweries Plc. In accordance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the members of the Audit Committee of Nigerian Breweries Plc, having carried out our statutory functions under the Act, hereby report that A, the accounting and reporting policies of the company are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. B, the scope and planning of both the external and internal audit for the year ended 31st December 2021 are satisfactory. The internal audit programs reinforce the company's internal control system. And C, having reviewed the independent auditor's memorandum of recommendations on accounting procedures and internal controls, we are satisfied with management's responses thereon. Finally, we acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of our duties. Members of the Audit Committee are 1. Chief Timothy A. Adesina, Shareholder Representative, Chairman, and that's myself. Number 2, Mr. Mazi Samuel C. Mpamugo, Shareholders Representative, Member. Number 3, Mr. David O. Oguntoye, Shareholders Representative, Member. And 4, Mrs. Ifueko M. Omoigui Okauru, MFR, Directors Representative, also Member. Then Mr. Stephen L.M. Sema, Directors Representative, Member. The Company Secretary served as the Secretary to the Committee dated the 15th of February 2022 and signed by me, Timothy A. Adesina, with registration FRC/2013/IODN/0 to the 7th power 3745. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Ayobami Adesina. Thank you. In view of the nature of this meeting, and to ensure that the voting wishes of shareholders as contained in the proxy forms are captured, I, under Section 248, subsection 1A of CAMA, and Article 59, subtitle 1-2A of the Articles of Association, hereby declare that voting at this meeting shall be by poll, except for the item on the agenda relating to election of members of the Audit Committee. Please note that an ordinary resolution is required for each item. That is, a simple majority of the votes shall suffice for each resolution. Thank you very much. May I recognize the presence of Dr. Anthony Omojola. You are here, you are very much welcome. Thank you. And our dear Nnamdi Nwosu walked in majestically just a few minutes ago. We are very happy to see you on your both legs, looking fit. May the good Lord continue to guide and guard you. Thank you. Right here, we have, like I said, all the ESCO members and the management. They are also here, present, and they are holding proxies. Okay. We are very much, I've just been corrected. They are here to observe the proceedings. We want to thank you on behalf of the board and shareholders for your continued support. And I want to thank you for your commitment to even give more and greater support during the years ahead. Thank you very much. We're now at item number 6. Yes. My colleagues and I will be pleased to answer any question which you may have on the reports and accounts already laid before you before we proceed to the next item on the agenda. Follow-up questions and comments could also be sent to the email address which has been provided, which is my bizshares@heineken.com. My MB shares. Before you make any comment, even though my address has been taken as read, you've passed that. Okay, continue. All right. Is there any question? I will start from Matthew, then yourself, then our dear clergyman.
The chairman, board of directors, regulatory authority here present, my colleague and esteemed shareholders, good morning.
Thank you.
My name is Matthew Akinlade, the president of Noble Shareholders Solidarity Association. I think I should not forget to thank the management and staff of Nigerian Breweries too for their hard work to produce a good result that we are considering today. Honestly, given the challenges in Nigerian economy, and when we compared with the performance last year, we have put up a very good performance. And I will ask that our shareholder to clap for you. Starting from revenue, you were able to grow it by about 30%, precisely 29.7%. And when it comes to profit, you grew that by 71.8%. It's fantastic. Consequently, your earning per share is 161 naira compared with 161 kobo compared with 94 kobo last year. That's a big jump. Another thing is that shareholders, what matters to us mostly is the return on our investment, particularly the cash that comes to our pocket. As in, a number of us are retirees, and what we live on is our investment of the past when we are active. So when a company doesn't pay dividend, for me personally, I won't be happy, and I'm going to criticize such a company. But for Nigerian Brewery, from any per share of 161 kobo, you are paying 160 kobo. Interim of 40 kobo and final of 120. That's great. It's like you are paying everything out. Despite the fact that in terms of cash flow, and if you look at the current ratio of the company, it's just like 0.44, which means for every 1 naira liability, we are covered with 44 kobo. So it is, I believe it is the interest of the shareholder that you have in mind that make you to go this far as to declare nearly all the earning per share as dividend. So congratulations. Your cost too, you manage well, but there are a few things I want to point out. Marketing expenses, that's on page 53. What I'm talking about of the annual report. Your marketing expenses rose by 38% from 70.7 billion to 97. It's a huge jump. I appreciate the fact that you promote the products in order to gain edge against the competition. But the increase in marketing expenses is far above the growth in revenue. So, yeah, we should manage this cost further. Similar thing for admin costs. From 18.9 billion, it went to 25.8 billion, which is 36% increase. One other thing I look at on that page 53 is the tax. Your tax as a percentage of operating profit last year was 35%. But surprisingly, this year, it went to 46%. Are there special tax that you pay? Do you have back duty assessment? And I want to hope we are managing, probably that we have consultants managing tax for us to make sure that we are not paying more than we should be paying. On page 82, note 9C, expenses by nature. There is what we call other expenses, which is about 18 billion. The previous year, it was about 14 billion. I just wonder why we could not do further analysis of it. When we say other expenses or sundry, it's not expected to be that big. So in future, we need to dig more into analyzing the expenses. And
what page is that?
Page 82, note 9C.
All right.
Note 9C. So we need to look at that. And on page 81, note 9A, auditors' remuneration increased from 65.5 million to 70.5 million. I don't know when they increased their fee last. I think auditors' remuneration should not be something that is increased on a yearly basis. The one that I am just concerned about is the additional payment for group reporting audit, which was 81.2 million the previous year, now it's 7.1 million. Well, it may be justified, but my worry is that I could not see where it is reflected in the financial statement. What was reflected in the income statement that one can pick up was the statutory audit fee. The amount for group reporting audit, I will appreciate it if we can indicate where it is in the financial statement. If you look at page 55, coming to the balance sheet, inventories grew by 72.5%. Similarly, trade and other receivable grew by 36%. I think we need to manage this very well to avoid issue of obsolescence. If we stock so much more that will last so long, we may end up with providing for obsolescence. And then trade and other receivable growing higher than increase in revenue. Our credit control has to be stepped up. And looking at the balance sheet of Nigerian Breweries, in terms of cash flow, there's an issue. I mean, in terms of funding. Yes, if you look at borrowing came down by 5%, because I look at both non-current and current borrowing. Last year it was net 1.4 billion. This year it dropped drastically to 31.4 billion. So one would say this is great. But by the time we look at cash and cash equivalent, it has dropped by nearly half, from 30.3 billion the previous year to 16.7 billion. Beyond that, trade and other payable has grown by 62%, from 137.8 billion the previous year to 223.4 billion. So, if our creditors are demanding for payment, we will have an issue. We are going to have an issue. And I want to guess, because I could not see it in the financial statement, I want to guess that probably because of scarcity of foreign exchange, our imports, we are unable to remit the money. And that's why we are having so much. If that constraint is off, our borrowing will be hitting the roof. So we need to look at it, and I look at it that Nigerian breweries need to fight, because you are on growth trajectory, you need to look at way of funding the business. I'm not surprised that our dividend, we are talking of cash dividend and a change for shares. I appreciate that. That's a way of funding. But I think beyond that, we need to look at more sustainable way of funding the business, either by way of right issue and or some second-tier capital kind of. So we need to look at that. On governance, I think the company is doing very well. I look at the gender balancing. We have 4 female and 8 males on the board as non-executive directors, which is very good, and it's a good kind of gender balancing. And you have complied with CAMA 2020 in terms of independent directors by having 3 of them, which I commend you for. So, like the chairman said, he said, we are compliant, and I think you are actually compliant. Congratulations. There is another important issue I want to raise. The unclaimed dividend continue to rise. And the cost is not far-fetched. What Nigerian Breweries is doing is to have this case of unclaimed dividend. Nigerian minority shareholders back in the villages and all that, how many of them have access to computer as to be able to look at this you sent to them? So you can print annual report like one in 3 years, one in 4 years, not necessarily every year. Unclaimed dividend. Sorry, we need to print it to help the local shareholders who do not have access to computer. Thank you very much. I wish our company continuous progress, and I look forward to better profitability and improvement in our dividend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew Akinlade. May I respectively request that, we'll go straight to the points and make our comments, as brief as possible. Also, if we have, and to say quite a few things, you can put in writing in advance to enable management get prepared, and look into all this. Having said that, I want to thank you again. As like I usually say, we take all the good comments and the commendations you poured on us without the least temptation of getting swollen-headed. Rather, it will help us to do even more. You made your mention of a few points, which I'll come back to your detailed reply. You said about 100%. It's not about. We distributed 100%. It was 100% in line with our policy. And okay, that's okay. So I take a few more. After Mazi, Doctor, and dear. Thank you very much. I hope we don't forget a few of us are fasting.
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
of the great company, Dr. Chief Olajamodu, the man that is at home with his people. I greet you, sir.
Thank you.
And our eminent directors right here, distinguished fellow shareholder. My name is Okezia Boniface, the National Chairman, Progressive Shareholders of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, I'm delighted to be here today that in many brewery sectors in Nigeria, this is the only brewery that has still standing and paying dividend to the shareholders. You have a lot of competitors in the market today in Nigeria that see brewing all kinds of products. But at the end of the day, how many of them are still meeting the shareholders' obligations in terms of returns on the investments? Nigerian breweries still standing. Despite the pandemic, where the restriction of movement, because our product is where people socialize and gather in a restaurant, in a bar, or beer parlor, or hotel, and they drink. Or social gathering event, burial, ceremony, party, wedding, etc., etc. But those things were restricted movement because of the disease that we don't know where it comes from. Mr. Chairman, despite all these things, the staff and management of Nigerian Breweries Plc have been able to pay us 160, 40 Trillion dividend. At that head time of pandemic and people at home, the money came in handy for people. Today we are paying the 120, the last dividend, which is payable today. Yes. Today, Mr. Chairman, that is great. So if we come here and talk about poor encomium, I think the Nigerian Breweries deserve it to be applauded for what they have done. People may say that 120 or 160 is too small. Look at the current price of Nigerian brewery today. Like I said in my opening remarks, how many breweries, we have a lot of them in Nigeria today, are paying dividend last 5 years, thereabout. We can count my teeth, I think they have not paid dividend. But they are still standing despite the economic situations, despite where the consumers have been made to pay more. And that also have been shrink. People who can go out to buy, they are not buying heavily as ought to, because the tax has not pushed back to them. If you consume a bottle of malt, you have to pay more on VAT. This also have a compounding problem for Nigerians, because it goes back to the consumers. Mr. Chairman, today, the diesel is about 700 per liter. And most companies are operating for diesels to fuel their power to produce, manufacturers, including Nigerian Breweries. Because the national grid is already gone in comatose. They are collapsed. You can't rely on them, public power. Because if we have gotten things right, to have steady public power, we'll make more profit, as we're doing today, President. And that will also come more earning to the company and distribute more dividend higher to shareholders who have invested. That's where we are. So any company that has strived to pay dividends should be applauded, because the economy is not working. And people begin to wonder how this company are making it. But I think it's by perseverance and remain focused is what giving us this dividend we're sharing today. If the economy generally, we wouldn't have been paying dividend at all. Because companies have surprised us this year. Despite the economic challenges and headwind, a lot of them are paying dividend. That's unusually expected. So, Chairman, I want to commend the management, the staff, who have worked tirelessly to bring this result. I want to salute all of you. You have done well. And God will continue to strengthen the consumers and our customers and distributors, empower them to do more, so that more will come to this end at the floor at the end of every year. Mr. Chairman, I want to commend the management for innovations in our product. Today, they have come in handy. Whatever brand you take, some of them have small plastics that they can put in your handbag or whatever to move around. So whatever you take, or no alcohol, it has meant in a good way, in a good packaging, that they can have them and drink at their own choice at any time. I want to commend them for this good innovation. That also to attract market, patronage in what we're having today. Okay. Mr. Chairman, the new product that we are seeing, the Climax Energy, and I believe strongly is being brewed by Nigerian Breweries, not imported for the parent company. I want to commend the company for that classic drink, the Climax of Energy. I think we also need to push more advert on it so Nigerians can also taste it. That is good, it's healthy. Mr. Chairman, which is on page 5, you can see the bottle there. It's also coming in a plastic and can. On page 5, or that report is there. Mr. Chairman, you also go to page 6 and 7. The Gouda have also come in a brand in stimulating and ever testing adventures. You can see there. But I also appeal that these ones also must come in plastic, not only in can or the bottle, so that people can make choice. Easy way to go. And as you bring it in shapes in those plastic, that also the price will account. People can affordable in whatever way they want it. Mr. Chairman, I want to also commend you for bringing our brother, Ashley Gadel, on the board of this great company. He's one of the chairman also in a Equity company, a bank, Stalin. He's serving currently chairman of Stalin Bank PhD. The bank that's also doing well. And we are bringing him today on the board of this company. Mr. Ashley Gadel, we welcome you on board. And I know you are coming here on board will also contribute immensely to leverage what is existing that will get more dividend as we are beginning to pay off from Stanley Bank. It's just not appointed directors, but it must contribute. And I'm knowing you are coming here is to contribute for the growth of this company. Those who are retired, who have left the board, we also commend them for paying their dues. And they are leaving, and new incoming ones are coming to also contribute. Mrs. Y. Cardozo, whatever. They say you are finance guru. Good. I know you are also coming. We brought to beer. They say that we have grown more dividend to shareholders, Nigeria. Because I know you are the Henneke also taking chunk large of the money. Which I'm going to still comment here later. Chairman, don't mean like this. We're coming. I'm not going to take much of your time, but Chairman also took our time by explanatory. Would have even lived here. 2 hours meeting, we just go. You also delaying the whole thing. Mr. Chairman, on page 15, talk about this received cash dividend. For how long are we going to continue to receive a cash dividend? Are we doing it for a particular group of people or entire shareholder? If we declare dividend, let us pay it out. Or if we are having script issue that we need to apply money back, let us pay script issue instead of this cash dividend, because at the end of cut-off mark, we will not have the information or paper distributed for you to sign as what you want to, whether to go cash or the dividend or the script issue. But we don't, it's well closed, debt have been closed. Let's give information for shareholders to make their decision. Either you want to go with the cash or the script. As very recommended. As very recommended. Because by the time you close, the register close on that debt backed out, some of us will lose out. Because we don't have the information on that either. So I want to state clearly, Mr. Chairman, yes, I know there are foreign partners. They are very difficult to repatriate their dividend because of the shortage of foreign exchange in Nigeria, and which is not encouraging for foreign investors. Whatever they are putting in here, it must be repatriated, their dividend accrued to them. And that's why I have accounted on this great issue. For how long will you continue doing that, Mr. Chairman? Because when you pay them, they must find a way. Central Bank must grant that, for them to have their money repatriate back to their home country, to grow their own economy as well, because they have brought their money here. And that's why we're encouraging investment, foreign investments, not portfolio, who come with briefcase. But these ones have come to build industries, manufacturing. So they accrue earning to them, they must go home. That's normal. Mr. Chairman, we must find a means. I know you have been given honorary doctor award. I don't know whether it's business or the Vanity and Bell University. I commend the company secretary for bringing the picture here. Mr. Chairman, you go with all this as elder statesman, former minister of this and that. when you people come to power, you don't speak truth to the powers. That's the problem we have in this country. If people like you at your age, MFR, cannot speak power truth to the power, then Nigeria will continue to wombling. That's the truth. We need to find out ways of people who invested, they bring their hard-earned money, they're able to take them their profit back when they want it, so that we don't shortchange other Nigerians in times of this, Mr. Chairman. I want to state, because the last time you paid us bonus was 2004. 1 for 1. Yeah, 2004. We're not getting another bonus from this company. So I want to make it clear that if you are declaring dividend, let it be dividend pay out to everybody. If you are declaring bonus and this year we cannot pay, we want to save cash, let it be. Mr. Chairman, take note of that. Mr. Chairman, I want to also commend you on page 25, our donations. I think there's improvement this year in the area I come from. Mr. Chairman, you also must to do more. In Aba today, it is not Nigerian Brewery that will solve the problem of that state. Abia State, precisely where I come from. Aba Brewery is there. One of the oldest brewery of this company residing there before Ama Breweries. That's Aba. For you to do out 6 million, you have to do more on the ASEPA, that's environmental sanitation, bins. I hope the brewery bought those bins that are distributed to them, giving them cash to go and procure. I hope we'll have those things distributed to them, because government today are not trusted at all. They are thieves. So if you have those things distributed to those environmental, to distribute to the streets of the state, mostly Aba, the commercial nerve city of that state, would have better. I want to commend you, but you have to do more of such, make sure that every can that litter in the street are taken away by those bins you donated to us and branded with our logos, name of Nigerian Brewery. That's how it should be, because they are part of where the factory resides. You must do more. That 6 million is not good enough, Mr. Chairman. I want to state that. Every other things you donated there are good. Mr. Chairman, I want to commend the company for doing out those kind of money. 602 million is not a chicken change. Doing out to communities, both Ama Brewery, they are also benefited. The scholarship scheme for the bursary schemes, so forth and so on. Mr. Chairman, all of them, I want to commend you on that. Mr. Chairman, I also want to commend you for attendance of board. It's 100% here. All the board attendance on page 27. Board attendance and subcommittees, both audit committee, all 100%. I want to thank this director for finding time to attend board meetings and subcommittees meetings to formulate policy for the management to drive their business to their activities. Mr. Chairman, despite your age and the big schedule, you don't joke with board meetings. And that's why you're still guru. I want to commend you for what you have been doing for Nigerian Brewery. The good Lord will strengthen you. Continue to give that direction until you retire from the board. Mr. Chairman, if you look at the pages here, after page 29, I have another live on cage, tiger. I hope this drink will not turn people to tiger when they continue to drink tiger lager beer. I hope you don't tell them to become wild tiger, so that people also will have to drink responsible. But I know it made them to be bold, not to tear people. It made them to be bold, but agile. It's good. Mr. Chairman, like I said, all the products that we have today, arrays of products in our fleet are good, handy for everyone, whatever your choice. You drink alcohol, you drink whatever, And then lastly, the new product. I love it so much. He said, no added sugar. I bought it sometime and I still have it in the house. He called it Ultra. New look, Amstel malt. And new Amstel malt, Ultra. No sugar added. I hope I believe so. Because when you taste it, you know that there's no sugar. Because a lot of sugar diabetes disease today are much in the country. And when you have salt that not burdened with sugar, it is good for people, even to taste something bitter, good for their health. So I want to commend the management for more innovation should be coming on our ways. Another one, legend, which people are now taking very, very much. We go through Lotala, through Golota, glory. Mr. Chairman, when we are doing Yam Festival in the East, Yam Festival in the East, we must go celebrate them. When you take that glory, in times of Yam Festival, or Ebamamu, all the masquerade dance in the East, identify with them, and so that they will continue to enjoy those soft drinks, and they will give many, many names to it. It's a good one. Mr. Chairman, like Akinlade pointed out, today, on a claimed dividend, Nigerian Breweries, I know they have a lot. We can't rely on the disk, except you have the computer, you open it. The registrar must do us a favor. Do us, to publish this list. Because that way we appointed them as a registrar, custodian of our book members. Whatever you have declared over the years, that people are not yet for claim, must be published that figure to us. Not the figure when you paid, but the figure that still are standing, that are not yet claimed. That money should return to Nigerian Brewery. And when the shareholder come forward to claim, the registrar have to write to the company secretary that we have a lot of shareholders beseeching us to claim those money. We need the money, how much? And the draft have to be issued and fund the account to pay it, Not somebody in Abuja sitting to mop up this money. Because what the SEC is telling us, the registrars are feeling fat on this money. And I saw that they are mopping it up. That's the justification. SEC have not found a means to solve the problem on the claim. Rather that the registrars are having much of this money in their kit. I comforted the SEC. The commissioner have written, and they're telling us that we should not be supporting registrars. Why we speak on their behalf? I said, why have you found a solution on this issue of unclaimed dividend? The solution you are finding today is to mop up the money from them. If they are having such money, return it to the company that declared this dividend for crying loud. That's where the money should go. Not you taking it to Abuja in the name of government, whatever. There's no government have aided the citizen to buy, invest in any company. I stand to be corrected or quote. No government have given anybody empowerment to go invest. Why must you collect people's sweat? If the registrars are having it, what as a regulator, you ask for quarterly returns from them and know how this money has been disbursed. Whether the rightful owner have collected this money or not. Not you mopping this money. Nigeria Breweries need those money. Because we're still a company. We're still standing. So at the end of the day, you are the one to make available this money to pay to your shareholders. Even if you have taken it to a bank that couldn't interest it, then we can pay interest on every shareholder that still have a standing money. It is not for the regulator to collect this money. And by the way, should the regulator start disbursing those money, did they have the master list of the 80 members to pay in the first place? Is it their duty? Their duty is to regulate, to checkmate. If there's a shortcoming somewhere and correct the lapses, it is not for them to mop up those money. We are saying enough is enough in this country. Allow the poor people to have their money. If the rest are doing things irregular, that's why they should come in and demand quarterly how this money has been disbursed. Mr. Chairman, like I said, I don't want to waste our time. Yeah, I don't want to waste our time. Nigerian Breweries have done very well. We have done very well. And we continue to do more by God's grace. So that by next year, we will pay 3 naira. God's will alive. We'll pay 3 naira. God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. You made a number of points. But let me just correct one thing before we lose sight of it. We don't import any of our products. The products are manufactured here locally by our team. Because you mentioned whether it's imported, I thought I should not lose sight of that. And secondly, may I please? The time is going, and I don't want us to spend all the time here. Some of us are fasting. I say some of us. And today is Friday, too. Please, let's make our comments brief, to the point. That's very important. I will come back to you. Like I said, where's our gentleman here? In fact, you've taken this stand. I hope.
I want to save time.
Okay, please save time.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and please make it well. You told me you are going to save time. And after you, we will go to Nona and then our dear Sir Nonde. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please go straight.
The name is Prince Dr. Anthony Omoni Omojola.
Omojola.
Yeah, the current National Coordinator, Independent Shareholder Association of Nigeria. Much has been said, and I want to associate myself with the earlier speakers for the positive statements they've made. At 75, Nigerian breweries have come a long way. It's only people like the chairman and like Shifa Adesina that can tell the histories of, more histories of Nigerian breweries from the beginning. But thank God for some of us that are growing up and coming over. We've been enjoying Nigerian breweries for many years and we continue to enjoy. The earlier speaker has alluded to your good performance, and I say yes. Kudos to the board, management, and staff. I so much love what I see on one of these pages. That's the executive management. That looks like page 17 or so. I love these pictures, the smiling faces. It shows satisfaction and some level of commitment. I will urge them to go on. And of course, in terms of management continuity, it shows that some of them can actually be lifted higher to the main board. So if that's a recommendation, please take it on board. In terms of the notice of meeting, this item here, the conversion of dividend to units, I say is a very good one. But let me make a statement of warning. The majority shareholders have a better advantage to grow their shareholding if this kind of opportunity is given too often. And the essence of that is that the free float portion will be closing the gap gradually. So you have to be you have to be aware that if you are closing that free float gap, the tendency is that they may follow the Nigerian Breweries may follow the pattern of the XY companies that have delisted, and we don't want Nigerian Breweries to delist. So take to the advice of Boniface Okezie. If you want more money, go to the market or give us direct bonus so that we can add it to them. Otherwise, if we are to rely on the fact that the people find it difficult to convert their dividend or their royalty, and they put it for this conversion, it is the advantage of the local investors. That's for that.
I look at page part of the chairman's statement. I look at the numerous awards we gained in the course of the year that attested to our good performance, which is good. One of the earlier speakers has gone into the figures on our performance, which I also say is very, very good. But I will not be repeating everything they said. I also appreciate the fact that we are paying a total of 160 kobo, 40 kobo interim, and 120 for the final. Kudos to the board and management. Please keep it up. In terms of donations, yes, we've done very well. 262 million, which is fair enough, but we can also improve on it, and of course, diversify the base so that we can reach the needy more. I will have frown on the fact that we have 2 members in our governance committee, which ideally should be minimum of 3. Because with 2, if the other person, one person is not ready, that means that committee cannot hold. One person cannot hold committee. So I will advise we increase to 3, more so now that we are bringing on board 3 extra members. So you cannot complain that you don't have enough members to move around. So there are a lot of pictures, very good. You're showcasing people and promoting them is very good. It's good. Like I said, the earlier speaker has alluded to the fact that the cost of governance is high. But there's a place here, non-finance costs. At 17, I'm on page that's 53, I suppose. It's very high here, 17.7, almost 17.8 billion. I want us to watch the cost of governance and see as much as possible, be able to prune down my expenses, save those we can save for the better bottom. Sorry? Oh, that page. 53. Yeah, 53. Immediately after the external auditor's report. That's under the consolidated and separate statement of profit and loss. Yeah. Again, well, I promise I won't waste much of your time. Otherwise, I'll be talking more on the breakdown of the expenses. Yes, and you can see the way I'm just getting over the pages. Let me just say finally, I think that will delight the chairman. Finally, yes, when you look at the value added page, value added page is 122. The company has done very well, but I want us to improve on the retentions. You see, to the external auditors, where property, plant, and equipment are brought as part of retentions, I don't quite appreciate that. I don't know how you did it. Property, plant, and equipment as part of the retentions, and for the value add application.
Can you clarify that?
Yes, that's why I'm turning to Follow Show to look at that one very well.
I thought you were addressing the meeting, not the auditor.
Hello, can you allow the chairman to see me here? Because the chairman is bending.
Yes.
Aha. So, under the value added page.
What page?
I've said 122. 122. Value added. When you look at the application, the last 4 items is retention of the company. And the first item under retention is property, plant, and equipment, where you have 38 point something. I don't see why property, plant, and equipment should be part of the retention of value added. So we should look out and reclassify that as we move forward. I haven't said the last one of the last, which I want to support, is the position of shareholders when it comes to dividend. I should emphasize this more than every other person, but I don't want to take much of the time. Like I said, let the registrars do more to be able to get to the shareholders. When you put unclaimed dividend under disket and you ask people to go to your website, and many shareholders don't have access to it. But like it's been advised, once our company gives them the go-ahead to print periodically the unclaimed dividend list and readable. That I emphasize that one, readable. There are some of the lists that are printed in the past that you cannot even read it. And that readable is very, very important. When you print, let it be readable. And of course, let it be sent to every shareholder. Where we cannot afford that, at least get across to the major shareholders groups. And this one, they will dispense to their members. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Modula. Your points are noted. I will endeavor to answer them later on. Who else? Nona, I know you're always very brief and you go straight to the point. Thank you very much, Nona.
The chairman, other members of the board, including those of them that are watching us via video, and very distinguished fellow shareholders. Since I also find that you have some management staff here, I also want to recognize them. Mr. Chairman, as a way of making sure that I don't spend more time than necessary, I will give you an assurance that I will not repeat what anybody has said.
Very good.
And in that light, Mr. Chairman, when I saw the group photograph of the board on page 8 and 9, and I then went to page 48, and I saw that of the audit committee, when you said somebody is not the chairman of this meeting, I understand what you were saying. I didn't realize that some of you now learn how to wear parachutes like you are wearing wrapper. But Chairman, let me, looking at page 17, and I got fascinated by what I saw there. Facing you and doing well. And I was wondering, where will the concept be coming from? But Chairman, when I saw you in suits, I understood where that was coming from. Because I can't remember when last the chairman was in suits in any of the photographs. And I said, oh, this chairman. Because the truth be told, I'm not an accountant. But one of the things I've learned with accounts is that they have so many stories to tell. And it's in that light that I'll be asking, since I also saw the display by Roland. And it was something similar today. I'm not sure if it's not based in Kabul, because I'm told he covers Asia, and is his office in Kabul? Because it's only in Kabul that I find some of the things that Roland is wearing, even in this account. But I will discuss Kabul with you much more, because you must be a strong man if you come from Kabul. Talking to the account, Mr. Chairman, there is something that you have constantly said in the past, and that itself has led me as the starting point of looking at Nigerian Breweries accounts. And one of the things that when you were much younger, your swag was usually around. Did you see our share price? I know that you are not as young as you used to be, but when I looked at the share price, I was, okay, the chairman is losing his swag because we dropped by almost 11%. But I'll be telling you much more about that in the course of my short presentation. But going forward, some of us have raised this in the past. When you do well, the responsibility even becomes bigger for you to do better. And in doing better, disclosure is something that you must not let go. I will be again asking that the disclosure that we have regarding the educational trust is not adequate. Money comes from the company to that fund. We have a right to know how it is spent. We do have a right. The share-based scheme is also money from the company. It's also money for the company that is being spent. We also demand that we should know who are the beneficiary on a yearly basis. You pay out the money and you don't disclose who the beneficiaries are, and I don't think it is good enough. Because even from the jurisdiction where this has been copied, detailed presentation as to who the beneficiaries are is one thing that you'll find year in, year out. And I think that for us is something that we must also take a cue from. Mr. Chairman, okay. That is on, the educational is on page 22. But for the share-based, I'll be telling you, because it's still something I'm going to talk about. So just, Mr. Chairman, I also think that as a company, looking at page 12 and 13, there are two legs of our operations in terms of human capital. One of them is local, the other one is global. But I don't think that having spent what we spent and looking at what you have on page 25 and 28, talking about leadership and training, the only mention of any international program to any Nigerian in this account has to do with the mention of Madam Grace. And I don't think that is good enough. Because, yes, the top level management has been largely Nigerianized, but I don't think what we're doing in terms of international placement, in terms of reporting, is adequate. It's not. But much more importantly, I'll be asking that the audit committee should also begin to look at what our succession plans are. It is not sufficient for you to say, because, again, with due respect to the new CEO, one CEO has gone, you bring another foreign CEO. I don't think so. If we deliberate in our policy that we'll want to find very educated, with good morals, with good ethics, Nigerian that can run Nigerian breweries, we'll find them anywhere in the world. So let's begin to say this is a discussion that has been on for a while now. Because if we continue this attitude, I would see that, Nigerians are not respected, and I don't think that is the way to go. By the way, Chairman, if you didn't become CEO of a company yesterday, I'm not sure Nigerian Breweries will have invited you to come and lead this board. I'm not sure. So let's begin to also create other chairman of your CAIP tomorrow. And the only way we can create them for tomorrow is to start that now. So I want to see in your report going forward, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a number of Nigerians who also feel slighted by what a number of our multinationals are doing when it comes to importing human capital. I want to see that as a report. What is it that we are doing? How many Nigerians have we placed? Where have we placed them? What level have we placed them? So if you don't even then get me a Nigerian to come and run Nigerian breweries, and I know that Nigerians are also in other locations, that for me will also be consoling. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank Chief Akinlade for asking for our funding structure. Yes, I know that we are also in competition, but I think it's something that we need to talk about. Like I said, I didn't do accounting, so probably that's why I'm much more confused than Chief Akinlade. But if you do this, it will also help. And inventories. Let me tell you where my worry is. Receivables and inventories, almost 100 billion in the year under review, from less than 50 billion last year, 100% jump. And that's probably explain why we have impairment on page 107 of 4 billion. Yes, for the size of business that we do, 4 billion is more money. But for the size of dividend that are coming our way, that is a lot of money. So let's constantly look at how we structure it so that the level of impairment will also be lower. Mr. Chairman, I say this with due respect because fortunately SEC is represented here. And when SEC look at some of the big boys like Nigerian Breweries in the market that paid 28 billion in VAT in 1 year, with a 6 billion jump between 2020 and 2021, 28 billion. So if you put our total tax structure, because VAT itself is a tax, we paid almost 40 billion naira in tax in 1 year. This, interestingly, is also coming in from 26 billion in 2021. Chairman, I shouldn't remind you, but the total profit that we are going to be distributing is 13 billion. Government has taken 40 billion naira. And I then ask, ease of doing business, for who? For who? So you can have more money to share in Abuja and then trickle to local government. And that probably explains why SEC, in a sane environment, SEC will not come forward and say, because you are having a COVID meeting, you will increase price from 50,000 naira to 500,000 naira. It's sheer madness. And unfortunately, we have chief executive, top executive in SEC who failed in their own businesses. They couldn't manage businesses. And they now say, oh, minister has given approval. Even the minister who doesn't even understand anything about the capital market. Can you talk about minister? He doesn't know a jack about capital market. But one of the things that we'll be encouraging you to do is that we must resist all unfair treatment. And SEC's position is unfair. Because if they run businesses, I'm not sure they will be ready to pay 500,000 as against paying 50,000 last year. By the way, how many of the companies are doing well? How many of them? Well, don't forget, if government can collect 40 billion from you, SEC will be thinking that you have so much money in your backyard. Don't also be surprised if they think that you even have a central bank at the back of your factory. And that's why they're asking you to fix such things. Chairman, I also am concerned in other areas, and I will run through them very quickly. Yes, I know that we will now brew by the sun. And I want to commend the fact that you took that initiative, because I was just imagining if Ibadan was to join the other plants to be run on diesel and gas, I don't know what the cost will have been. Unfortunately, the auditors haven't also helped us with this presentation. I can't determine what your energy cost is. But given that energy is a major input going forward, I will also be asking, please separate energy costs so we can also begin to understand. Because, yes, I know, Chairman, you used to be in government. I think in our environment, government is the biggest liar. And the only way we can counter their lies is to have the facts. So please put energy cost as a standalone item going forward. The second major area of my concern, which I also want us to speak to, reforestation is an excellent venture. But I want to remind the board that we live in an environment where domestic energy cost is also going through the roof. Be it cost of charcoal, be it cost of firewood, be it cost of kerosene, if you find any. So if you spend 60 million naira in having to put back forest in a location, what guarantee do we have that the tree that you are putting back will not find its way to become firewood for somebody to cook his rice or cook his samala or cook whatever? So that money does not go down the drain. That is the assurance I think that I will want you to speak to. Mr. Chairman, I also will be expecting that we talk a little around our subsidiaries. In 2021, our subsidiary made a loss, 255 million. And that itself is coming from 157. Again, you say it's small money, but if you add that money to the bottom line, the dividend will probably grow by a few more kobo. Because we basically have returned to the loss position by the subsidiary that was last in 2017. So what is it that we are also doing around the subsidiaries? So their position will not be that of a loss, and then we can begin to see more money come the way of the shareholders. I'll also be expecting that there will be some talk around what our export policy is all about. Because 1 year is up. I can understand COVID period, but we constantly are moving out of COVID. But 1 year is up, the following year is down. I also say this because if we become a little more aggressive, yes, Heinekens may not like it, means that we'll be competing with them in some of the West African or Central African countries. But it will also help to fund even part of their own dividends that we cannot get forex for if we do that well. So what is our export policy as a means of also improving our foreign currency position? Mr. Chairman, on unclaimed dividend, my position is that in 2020, we had 1.07 billion being status bar, which the company has collected, which interestingly Heinekens will be benefiting from in 2021. What was the amount in 2021 that became status bar? I didn't find any, and I know that given the dividend history of Nigerian breweries, some got status bar in 2021. How much is it? But much more importantly, the money that is with us as unclaimed dividend, other than Heinekens' money, what is the benefit that we are deriving from it? Because currently we are talking about 10 billion in unclaimed dividends. Okay, I've heard the solution that has been provided, but some of us will also be asking that the company, using its investor relation unit, should do a little more as to how we can bring down this figure. Because, like Chief Okeze said, the biggest beneficiary of unclaimed dividend, the way it is now, is Heinekens. That's the truth. They're the biggest beneficiary because they will collect all their money. But the retail Nigerian shareholders who leave this money, that money that is left becomes status bar, Heinekens will benefit. So let's also Heinekens begin to see how they can also help us aggressively in pushing down the figure. And in that regard, Mr. Chairman, I will also be saying that the scrip dividend, somebody talked about just the float. I also think that the retail shareholders are also being punished because there's a cost attached to it. There's a cost. Each time we increase paid up, there's a cost. Okay? Cost from the point of how much you pay CSCS. So if you make the foreign partner collect benefits and then you pass the cost on everybody else, it's not fair. So it is something that we need to stop. Because one of the arguments in the markets now is that Heinekens wants to take out the retail shareholders with the intention of delisting. So a number of people are not even approaching you, and notwithstanding the fact that your dividend yield, effective dividend yield today, is 2.23%. So you need to put up pictures that is not showing uncertainty as to what your position is really is. And I think it's in your interest because we are buying from the market. Okay? You are taking new shares via this arrangement. When there is also a time lag, a number of persons didn't get this account, okay, until after the closure date, as far as the marking. And meanwhile, the closure date for the share for dividend will have closed before people will realize it. But even if he hasn't closed, no man is going to leave Oshun and say he's coming to Lagos to come and see first registrar because he wants to feel anything. So it's important that we don't put, like I said, uncleared direction in the general public. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for inviting us because with over 100, almost 111,000 shareholders, just a few of us are representing via proxy. And that probably explains why you asked that we clap for OKZ twice. And I want to think that one of the things that you asked us to clap for OKZ is because he had earlier said that the company secretary is young shall grow. So you also want OKZ to grow in height when we clap for him the second time. So we'll do more of that next time. But it's also important, Mr. Chairman, if he has also tasted the no sugar and he still says he still has them in the house, we need to also confirm that OKZ is not taking them like drugs. It's using teaspoon. So they think that can last long. Mr. Chairman, looking at this account, it says, enjoy our rewards. The Nigerian shareholders want to enjoy their rewards. Not just the Akinlades who are retired. There are quite a number of young people. And one of the ways we can also help them to get involved in investment. Because any nation that continues to do short-term like your government is doing now, borrow from Pakistan, borrow from Uganda, borrow from everybody without putting proper investment, that society is likely to be in trouble. So let's also help by making sure that our approach to the market is one that is encouraging more and more young people to come our way rather than what we have. Because, you know why I say this, Mr. Chairman? The profit that we have is the second lowest in 5 years. Though in terms of top line, this is the best in the history of Nigerian Breweries. So we want you to do so well, and I think this also includes the management staff. So, Chairman, thank them for what they have done, because we've thanked the board enough for what they have done. Thank them for what they have done again. Just you clap 2 times for OKZ, but tell them that when you clap 2 times, when you thank them 2 times, they need to do more. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
No sugar added. Points well taken. Once again, I want to thank you, and I will make an attempt to address the points you've raised. Ladies and gentlemen, do we continue? Okay, now let's ask from the throne. Namdi, sir, let him see them. Even though you are not the chairman, but you can see them.
It appears we are having 2 chairmen on this occasion. If you look at page 17, and you also look at the audit committee picture there, it appears very clearly that we are having 2 political chairmen. Mr. Chairman, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I want to thank you for your very encouraging letter to me. It has really helped me because you said in that letter that you hope I'll be okay to attend your meeting on the 2nd of which I've done. So thank you for the moral support.
Thank you.
I want to quickly refer us to page 17. And I want the Corporate Affairs Department of the company to ensure that pictures matches whatever is being posted. If you look at you are doing well there, you see that the talking drum was so excited, but chairman was not excited because it's not his way of life to be dancing to talking drum. Page 17 and 16. Now, going further, I want to welcome my brother Asue to this board of Nigerian Breweries. We know his antecedents, and we believe that he will push for a better treatment on shareholders' affairs. So you are welcome. It looks very clear to me that the new board is a New Year gift, because if you look at the date of appointment of mostly all the board came 1st of January. So that was a New Year gift. So I want to say on behalf of shareholders that you are all welcome to the board. And we look forward that since you came in on a festival period, that you will create festivity around the shareholders. Mr. Chairman, I share the points raised by Boniface, Nonawo, and others. You recall that 2 years ago, I've really attacked this system of increasing the technical partner shares through this kind of trickish way of saying either scrip dividend, this and that, knowing fully well that they have the largest amount of money coming from the dividend. Definitely they'll be able to take more shares away from us. But I want us to look at it. So therefore, I agree totally with those who propose that we should have a right issue, a level playing ground for everybody to use his or her money to buy whatever he wants. Please, this arrangement is very odd to shareholders. Let us have let us have a right issue where we all know that we are going on a level playing ground to buy whatever we can afford to buy. I also want to take you back to the point raised by Boniface on bonus. If you look at bonus history, and I want to use this opportunity to thank the past leaders of Nigerian breweries. I don't know which one to say, whether we are 76 years or 75. But if you look at the page that tells us about legal status, it's saying 76 years. So on the post, we have 75th anniversary on the front page of the cover page of this annual report. I think there is need for clarity for us to really know what we are going home with. In case we get back home and our children ask us, how old is this company? We have to be very factual to say this is the age of the company. Mr. Chairman, I would just quickly like to refer you to page 55 of the annual report. You go to 55 under total assets. It's telling us that share capital is 4 billion, share premium is 77 billion, and if you put all together, this money belongs to shareholders. And if you take the history, bonus history of the company, which our former leaders did, you will see that we have been earning bonus along the line. The last one that was given to us was 2004. So, yes, sir. Let me quickly tell you. Page 130. Under page 130, you will see it there. Share capital history. And below is scrip bonus share history. There. The first one was 1976, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 83, 86, 90, 93, 95, 99, 202, and the last one happened 204. It's very clear there. Why are we keeping all this money? Yet, we are still taking loans from the banks and all this and that. Why don't you share part of this premium to shareholders by using it to give us bonus so that we'll all enjoy? Just like Mr. Akinlade said, and Nana countered that all of us are not retirees like Akinlade, but I am a retiree too. So let me have whatever I can have now and enjoy it. Yeah, but again, the fact is that whatever we are enjoying in capital appreciation in Nigerian Brewery will not be the same after this resolution that you want to give shares in relation to dividend, which is scrip issue. definitely the market will be awash with Nigerian Breweries shares. People want to sell to make money from it. So it is better we enjoy that. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I have two products here which I want to appreciate very well. It's called Star Radler. Star, page 49. It's very much acceptable by the consumers, and we should push and ensure that we continue to enjoy the acceptance of this product. Then I also get worried. We are having three products that are black, Legend, Williams, and the other one. So don't you think putting too many in the market at the same time, it will cost us a lot to push them? That's why the fact that the Williams we are talking about here is a drink. The popular Williams are tennis stars, So we just need to do something to ensure that we do not have too many problems at the same time. We have pushed Legend. You had Okezie. It's well acceptable. I can even see ladies drinking Williams from the pictorials that you have given to us. That shows clearly that it has fought the war and it has won. So we should not overstretch that by putting Williams and the other one is Tubo or something like that. Tubo King. These are things that will fight stout. So we should be focused and fight and win, not to fight and waste too much money. I don't know whether the MD is the one that went for Kuda Ultimate Search, because if you look at the page there, he's so excited. We saw his hand other than the person that even won. Maybe he's taking advantage of the Dutch height. The Dutch people drink a lot of milk, and they're always getting tall. I recall one of the managing directors of Nigerian Breweries that left. He's so tall. So, Mr. MD, who won? Who is the winner? Oh, okay. That's fine. The fact is that well, the joy is that good and won. Yes. So these pictorials are very educating. Yeah, but I want more of shareholders to be seen, because what we have seen about shareholders is an oppression. You oppress then you just put then somewhere there. Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleagues that the board, the management, and the staff, they've done very well in producing this result. And on behalf of shareholders too, I'd like to appreciate the company secretary who is steadfast in everything he's doing. Yeah. Well, Mr. Chairman, you have had the pronouncement and proclamation of shareholders. So it's left to you to do the needful. Thank you, and God bless every one of us. Yeah.
I want to thank you for your continued interest in the affairs of our great company. I've listened, and my team here have listened very, very carefully to all the suggestions, to all the remarks, to the encouragements you've made. And I want to thank you. You can be sure we'll look very deeply into them with a view to seeing how we can turn them into further advantage that would be of benefit to the company. There are quite a number of remarks, that went through. Everybody was talking about it. One area is the unclaimed dividend. You could see in my report, and a page that was devoted to unclaimed dividend, where suggestions were made that people should open accounts so that this can be credited promptly. On our part, we have made suggestions through the various associations as to what can be done about any dividend that is unclaimed. I want to implore you too on your side to join in this. I'm aware that you are talking to government. All we can do is to continue to talk with a view to not diverting the unclaimed dividend into whatever is being said will be done. I don't think it's in our interest to intervene. Our interest is to follow the law as thy obedient servant. But I want to assure you too that we do make representations through various advocacy groups. Bonus, it's a recurring decimal every year. And as if both Mr. Kekilade Samwosu, Nona Wosu, Awu, and the like, they were looking, spying into what the deliberations is currently going on within the board. I can assure you that this is being looked at, and as when we think the time is right for it, it will be visited. The other area you mentioned, some were saying we were importing. We are not. We have no business importing. We are very, very much into backward integration. And when I mean backward integration, somebody was saying to me, when you say backward integration, what do you mean by that? What we are saying really is, more or less looking ahead into sustaining our operations. We are one of the brewing companies that have sustained use of local materials. Anywhere we can get, we develop with farmers. We don't own the farms. Rather, we encourage farmers to grow and sell to us to avoid a repeat of what happened in some countries in Africa, where the people who come around, you these big companies, you drove us, you took our land, and employed us as laborers. Ours is different. We joined a partnership, we assure them that we will buy whatever they produce, provided it's of the right quality. And of course, we guide them. We have a team that goes into this. That's on the local sourcing. You were talking about exports. Of course, we are into exports. But don't forget, we don't also want to lose the local market. We don't want to deny the local market of ritual products. Otherwise, when you export, the same product will be imported back into the country at greater cost. So this is being watched. I can assure you this. And I'm happy I have here the team, and in particular, I have the marketing director. You don't mind standing? Who has been listening very, very attentively to what all the input, all the presentations. And this will be taken into account in our reviews. You spoke about share price. I wish I had money to buy. I thought this is the time to buy. But I can assure you that whoever is flogging now will probably bite his fingers sooner or later. Disclosure at page 22, we probably lost sight of the fact that there is a footnote that has given explanation to all the items mentioned there, and that's on page 82. If you looked at the footnote, the explanation is in there. Under others, it's been shown under others. You spoke about the need for succession planning. I can assure you that this is uppermost on our mind. If you look at page 19 of my address, I made mention of a program that has been developed over the years. It's called Heineken LV Expatriation Program. It's been quite impressive. As of today, we have 3 of our colleagues occupying the position of managing director positions in Heineken operations abroad. They are managing directors. And this is being watched, and we're looking at it. And it's something that we look at and watch on a daily basis. And your comment is noted. And I just wanted you to know that we have not lost sight of that. A few other areas you've mentioned, I'm sure you don't want us to go into areas that will give competitor a chance. Don't forget, in the past, especially Sir Nnamdi Nwosu, you normally send a note in advance of the areas you want explanations. I think we should try and do that. That would have saved quite a lot of time. The explanations would have been provided before now. And all the others, don't forget, some are strict and can become public competitive information. And I'm sure you don't blame us for not saying that. But if you have put it in writing, we'll have been able to address it. Thank you very much indeed. In 2022, we made a decision to increase up. Well, you were talking about cash. And people spoke about scrip dividend. This is not the first time we'll be doing scrip. And I think we should not lose sight of the point that has been made, which is you have a choice. You can take cash or take shares. The advantage of that, although you said the shares are they're available in the market, if you go into the market, you're going to pay all the SEC fees, all the transaction fees, and the like. If you use the dividend rather than taking cash, you've opted to invest more in the company by taking by taking scrip. I think it's of a tremendous advantage. And you are saying that this may lead to a way of delisting. For Nigerian breweries to delist, I don't think we're talking about that. I mean, SEC are here, and they're listening on Nigerian Stock Exchange. What other thing? So James was today I'm not drinking water. You said I will have had to drink water before I answer all these your questions. Trade and other receivables. You were talking that I were overstocked. I wish we had more. The way costs are going up. Rather than holding Naira, I would rather convert into stocks, raw materials, especially those areas that will not be time barred very easily. And we're watching this. It is watched very closely because the way the Naira is going, the more you can convert into stock, the better. So I don't think there is much regret for this, and I'm sure you are going to commend us for this. I wish we had more stocks rather than cash. Thank you very much. Group company, investment in capacity expansion. We're in a position where there is a gap today between demand and supply. And we push it from all corners to see how we can increase our capacity. I'm sure you are not blaming us for this. You're talking about dividend, rights issue. I'm sure you are not saying that we should pay dividend and ask people to then reinvest that cash to buy into rights. I thought that's a we can. No, we can do that. We wouldn't. Rights, it will be done as and when it's needed. Tsunami, land use, majority shareholders, the listing. Did you have any other thing? somebody made a remark about governors committee. I think this has been addressed. It has been addressed, and very shortly you will see, this improvement. Okay, thank you very much indeed. I've been told there is no other one that has not been attended to. I want to thank you once again for your contribution, especially for your interest in the organization. I want to assure you that we will continue to review all the points you have made with a view to seeing that they are not forgotten, and we'll take them into account. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is to declare a dividend. Oh, we don't want dividend? Huh? I hereby move that a total dividend of 12,921,331,039 naira only, that is 160 kobo only per ordinary share of 50 kobo each, be and is hereby declared in respect of the year ended 31st December 2021. That having earlier paid an interim dividend, which was declared in October 2021 in the sum of 3,230,332,760 naira only, that is 40 kobo per ordinary share of 50 kobo each. The final dividend will be 9,690,998,280 naira only. That is 120 kobo per ordinary share of 50 kobo each. Please note that if the proposed final dividend is approved, it shall be subject to deduction of withholding tax at the appropriate rate, and the dividend will be payable on the 22nd of April, today, after we've gotten your approval. To all shareholders whose names appeared on the company's register of members at the close of business on the 9th of March, 2022. This is in line with regulation. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Yes, Elijah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Elijah Sarata Yabode Balogun. I rise to second that motion.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are there questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Thank you. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer. The registrar will guide us through this use of the voting device and also conduct the voting exercise. Registrar, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For the purpose of voting on all the resolution, with the exception of the election of audit committee, will be by the use of voting device. If you are in favor of any resolution, you please press 1A on the voting device. If you are against any resolution, please press 2B. But before you press, please ensure that the device given to you is blank on the screen. Thank you. So, declaration of dividends.
No, okay.
Please put the resolution.
I think the battery is gone. Are you ready?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Yes, we are ready.
You said press 1.
Please press 1A if you are in favor of the resolution. If you are against the resolution, please press 2B. We've gotten 7 responses already, 8 responses, 10. 10 responses, 10 responses, 10 responses, 10 responses. Calm down, please. 11. We have 7 seconds left. 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Time up. Please disclose the results. At the end of the voting on this resolution, which is the declaration of dividend, we have 206 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 5,064,634,529 units, 100%, while we have 1 shareholder against, with 4,000 units. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Registrar. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is to elect and re-elect directors, including myself, who is over 70 years old. Special notice to that effect having been received by the company in accordance with Section 282 of the Companies Act and Allied Matters Act 2020. We will first deal with the re-election of directors retiring by rotation under Article 90 of our Articles of Association, before dealing with the appointment of new directors to fill the casual vacancies on the board. You will have seen from the report of the directors that 3 directors are due for re-election in line with Article 90 of the Articles of Association. They are Chief Kola Wole Jamadu, CFR, Mrs. Ifueko Omoguyo Karo, MFR, and Mr. Rolon Primex. As the re-election concerns me, it is my pleasure to call on the Managing Director, CEO, Mr. Hans Esadi, to chair this part of the proceedings concerning me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first director seeking re-election is Chief Kolawole Jamodu, CFR. I hereby move that Chief Kolawole Jamodu, CFR, be, and he is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Would someone please rise and second this motion? Please, sir.
I hereby second the motion that our able chairman and hard-working chairman be re-elected as a director of this great company, Boniface Okezie. Second that motion.
Thank you. Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting? I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer. I now call on the registrar to conduct the voting. Please.
Thank you very much, the acting chairman. Like I said earlier, for the purpose of voting, if you are in favor of that resolution, you press 1A. If you are against the resolution, please press 2B. The resolution is to re-elect Chief Kolawole Ibi Jamodu, the CFR, as the director of Nigerian Breweries Plc. Please open the poll. Eight responses. 9, 10, 11. Count down. A second left. Please display the results. Result, please. At the end of the voting exercise on that resolution, we have 210 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 5,115,166,386, 100%, no dissenting voice.
Congratulations. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. That concludes my assignment. I now call on Mr. Chairman to continue with the proceedings. Mr. Chairman, sir.
The MD CEO. The second director seeking re-election is Mrs. Ifueko Omogui Okaru, MFR. I hereby move that Mrs. Ifueko Omogui Okaru, MFR, be, and she's hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Sonny Wilson.
Mr. Chairman, I proudly support that motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting?
No question.
No question. Thank you very much. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer. And I invite the the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Like I said earlier, if you are in favor of the resolution, please press 1A. If you are against that resolution, please press 2B. Voting has commenced. We have gotten 9 responses, 10 responses, 11 responses. 11. Calm down, please. Seconds left. Time up. The result, please. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 207 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 5,064,635,493 shares, which represent 99.01%, while we have 4 shareholders voting against, with 50,531,393 shares. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The third director seeking re-election is Mr. Roland Pimex. I hereby move that Mr. Roland Pimex be and is hereby re-elected a director of our company. Will someone please rise and second this motion?
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman. The name is Prince Dr. Anthony Omani Omojola.
Thank you, Mr. Omojola. Dr. Omojola. Thank you. Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting? No question. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor, as usual, will act as the scrutineer. I now invite the registrar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1A. If you are against, please press 2B. Thank you. The poll has opened already. I've gotten 8 responses. 9 responses. 10 responses. 10 responses. 10 responses. 10. 10, 11. Calm down. Two seconds left. The result, please. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 209 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 5,115,165,886 shares, while only 1 shareholder was against that resolution with 500 units. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. On behalf of all re-elected directors, I would like to profoundly thank you, our dear shareholders, for the confidence reposed in us to continue to serve as directors in our great company. And we promise to continue to act in the best interests of the company. Thank you very much indeed. As you may be aware, since after the last AGM, the board appointed 4 directors to fill the vacancies thereon. Section 274, subsection 2 of CAMA requires these appointments to be approved by shareholders. The new directors are Hans Esade, our Managing Director, CEO, Mrs. Julie Anama, Independent Non-Executive Director, Mr. Asue Ighodalo, Non-Executive Director, and Mrs. Yelis Yedika Desla, Non-Executive Director. I hereby move that the appointment of Mr. Hans Esade as a director in the company be, and it is hereby approved. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Matthew Akinlade, thank you.
My name is Matthew Akinlade. I support that motion.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any question before the motion is put to the meeting? No, okay. I now put the motion to the meeting. Is he over 70? I hereby direct that the votes to be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as a scrutineer, and I invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1A. If you are
1A.
1A.
Okay.
If you are against that resolution, please press 2/B. Please open the poll. The poll has opened.
You are not voting.
Gotten
It's open.
3
It's
responses
open.
already.
You not voting.
Gotten 3 responses.
It's open.
11 responses. Calm down, please.
This is the Juliet. This is the Juliet.
The second left. Time up. Poll close. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 203 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present, with the number of shares of 5,064,627,985 shares. While shareholders are against that resolution, but they have 50,535,556 shares. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The second director for whom approval of appointment is being sought is Mrs. Juliet Anama. I hereby move that the appointment of Mrs. Juliet Anama as the director of the company be, and it is hereby approved. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Madam, you want to? Okay, thank you.
Chairman, I rise to second that motion. Boniface. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting? No question. Thank you very much. Thank you. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes to be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as a scrutineer. I now invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, sir. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A. If you are against the resolution, please press 2/B. Thank you. Please open the poll. Five responses so far. 6, 7, 8 responses. 9 responses. 9 responses. 10 responses. 10. 10. Many. Time up. Please display the results. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 204 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present with the number of shares of 5,064,594,682. While 2 shareholders were against that resolution, but they have 2,526 units. Thank you.
Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The third director for whom approval of his appointment is being sought is Mr. Asue Ighodalo. I hereby move that the appointment of Mr. Asue Ighodalo as a director in the company is hereby approved. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Saratu. Thank you. You can do it where you are. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, my name is Alaja Sarata Iyabode Balogun. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions before the motion is put to use to the meeting? Any question? None. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as a scrutineer, and I invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, sir. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A. If you are against, please press 2/B. Open the poll. 6 responses, 9. 9 responses. 9 responses. 9 responses. 10 responses. Count down, please. Seconds left. Time up. Please show the result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 203 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present with the number of shares of 5,115,000,000 114,593, while 4 shareholders were against that resolution with the shares of 6,663 units. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The fourth director for whom approval of her appointment is being sought is Mrs. Yeliz Kessler. I hereby move that the appointment of Mrs. Yedisla as a director in the company be, and it is hereby approved. Will someone please rise and second this motion? All right, okay, we've done it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby support that motion. The name is Prince Dr. Anthony Amunjala. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mojola. Thank you. Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting? No question. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer. And I invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A. If you are against the resolution, please press 2/B on the voting device given to you. You've gotten 5 responses already. 7 response, 8. 8 responses.
I have. Are you?
8 responses.
You've pressed. Okay.
8 responses. 8 responses. 9 responses. Count down, please. A second left. Please display the result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 205 shareholders, 14 truth, proxy, and physically present, with the total shares of 5,115,117,600. While we have 2 shareholders against that resolution with total shares of 4,500. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the independent auditor. Section 408, subsection 1B of CAMA requires that the remuneration be fixed by the company in general meeting or in such a manner as the company in general meeting may determine. I accordingly hereby move that the directors be, and they are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the independent auditor for the year ending 31st December 2022. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Madam, thank you. Yes. Okay, all right. Oh, is it? Okay. The next one, Nona, thank you.
I rise to second the motion.
Okay.
My name is Zalaja Sarata Iyabode Balogun.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any question before the motion is put to the meeting? I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the vote be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. I now invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A on your device. If you are against the resolution, please press 2/B. Please open the poll.
Hello?
8 responses.
I voted.
9 responses. Nine responses. Count down, please.
It's not coming on again.
Time up. Display the results. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 206 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 5,115,094,477. 100%. No against. No against. 100%. No against.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, based on the results presented by the registrar, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the election of members of the Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 404, subsection 3 of CAMA, members of the Audit Committee are subject to re-election annually. Section 404, subsection 6 requires that they be formally nominated. Accordingly, 5 valid nominations were received from shareholders on the members to represent them in the Audit Committee. The valid nominations are Chief Timothy Ayobami Adeshinyan, nominated by Matthew Akinlade. Maazi Samuel Mpamogo, nominated by Saka Kolawole Adams. Mr. David Olusegun Oguntoye, nominated by Mr. Ogunnowo Sunday Olutayo. Mr. Martins Akim Abiola, nominated by Mrs. Odusoya Okweanike. Okay. And Mrs. Odusoya Okweanike, nominated by Martins Akim Abiola. You are to elect 3 of these nominated shareholders to represent you in the Audit Committee. For the avoidance of doubt, please note that voting shall be by show of hands and not by a poll. Thus, voting will be done by the shareholders and the proxies here present. Here present. After the entire voting exercise, the results of the voting shall be announced by me. The independent auditor shall act as scrutineer. And now proceed with taking the votes. With all those in favor of election of Chief Timothy Adesina as a representative of the shareholders in the Audit Committee of the company, please signify by raising their right hands. Which one is it? That addition. Is addition. Okay. Well, the next one, you've gotten your results. Will all those in favor of the election of Mazi Samuel Nkwamogo as a representative of the shareholders in the audit committee of the company, please signify by raising their right hands. Will all those in favor of the election of Mr. David Oguntoye as a representative of the shareholders in the audit committee of the company, please signify by raising their right hands. You've taken it. Thank you. That's it. Will all those in favor of the election of Mr. Martins Hakim Abiola as a representative of the shareholders in the audit committee of the company, please signify by raising their right hands. Bakudaya. Am I right? Bakudaya is made 0. Will all those in favor of the election of Mrs. Oduson Yokwe Anike as a representative of the shareholders in the audit committee of the company, please signify by raising their right hands. Thank you very much. Everybody has voted. Everybody voted. Thank you for your patience. The scrutineer will collate and verify the results, after which the results will be announced. Before the results of the voting are announced, it is my pleasure to inform you that the directors have elected the following 2 members to represent the board of directors in the audit committee of the company. They are Mrs. Ifueko Moguyo Karu and Mrs. Yelis Yedikadesta. And the results out yet? We'll wait. If it's going to, we can continue. Do I continue with all that? Oh, it's coming. It's coming now. Straight away. You have the results? Okay. Are you going to give me? Thank you very much. Very good. I now have the results of the voting carried out. few minutes ago, and I wish to announce the results of the election as follows. Timothy Adesina, 13 votes. Maazi Mpamogo, 13 votes. David Oguntoye, 13 votes. Mr. Martins Akim Abiola Bakodaya, 0. Mrs. Odusoya Okpe Anike Bakodaya, 0. Thank you very much. I now declare that the following members have been duly elected as representative of the shareholders in the audit committee of the company. These are the people I've just mentioned, which are Timothy Adesina, Maazi Mpamogo, and David Oguntoye. Thank you very much indeed. Following from the elections, I now put the motion proper to the meeting. I hereby move that the following shareholders' representatives, Timothy Adesina, Samuel Mpamogo, David Oguntoye, as well as the following directors' representative, Mrs. Ifueko Moguyo Karo, Mrs. Yelis Yadilaxtra, be and are hereby elected as members of the audit committee. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Nona? Thank you.
I do second.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's Nona Awo. Will all those in favor of this motion? Okay, it's going to say it now. Boniface.
Chairman, that's what you cost when you ask us to clap for people 2 times. Nona Awo is my name. I do second.
Okay, thank you. Noted. We have to do it properly, is it? Okay. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising their admission cards in their right hands? Will anyone objecting to this motion please do the same? None. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. If you don't clap for me, I will clap for myself. The next item on the agenda is to disclose the remuneration of the managers. In line with the provisions of Section 257 of CAMA, the remuneration of the managers of the company for the year ended 31st December 2021 has been disclosed on page 116, note 32B of the 2021 annual report and account. That's that. Noted. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is to fix the remuneration of the directors. As this item concerns me, it is my pleasure to once again call on the Managing Director, CEO, Mr. Hans Esadi, to chair this part of the proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with Article 77 of the Articles of Association of the company, I hereby move that the remuneration of the directors in respect of the year ending 31st December 2022 B, and it is hereby fixed at 146,327,000 naira only. Would someone rise and second the motion? Sir.
I, Matthew Akinlade, I second that motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew Akinlade. Yes, Karen, sorry.
Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting? I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer. I now invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very
Please.
much, the acting chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A on your voting device. If you are against the resolution, please press 2/B. Please open the poll. We've gotten 7 responses, 8, 9, 10. Calm down, please. Four seconds left. Time up. The result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 207 shareholders voting in favor of that resolution with the total shares of 5,115,096,477. 100%. No dissenting voice.
Lady, it's working. 70. No. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. That concludes my assignment, and I now call on the chairman to continue with the proceedings. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer. The next item on the agenda is to consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company. That the general mandate given to the company to enter into recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, including, amongst others, the procurement of goods and services on normal commercial terms, be and is hereby renewed. The NGX Regulation Limited rules and related parties transactions require that the mandate be renewed annually. The transactions contemplated here are normal day-to-day transactions which have always been disclosed in the annual report and accounts. I hereby move that the general mandate given to the company to enter into recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, including, amongst others, the procurement of goods and services on normal commercial terms, be and is hereby renewed. Will someone please rise and second this motion? Elijah Saratu.
I rise to second the motion. My name is Elijah Sarata Iyabode Balu.
Thank you very much, Elijah Saratu Iyabode Lawal. Is there any question before the motion is put to the meeting? None, okay. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer. I now invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A on your voting device. If you are against the resolution, please press 2/B. Thank you. Please open the poll. 8 responses. 9 responses. 9 responses. Calm down, please. Five seconds left. Come on. Please display the results. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 202 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 566,228,889. While we have just 2 shareholders voting against with 3,345 units. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the results presented by the registrar, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The last item on the agenda is to consider and, if thought fit, approve by way of ordinary resolutions the proposal by the directors to give interested shareholders the choice to receive new shares in the company instead of the final dividend in cash. Authority for the directors to allot the new shares and to ratify all related actions taken by the directors. I hereby move that the following proposals by the directors be, and they are hereby approved. 1, that shareholders entitled to receive cash dividends in respect of the financial year ended 31st December 2021 be offered a right of election to receive ordinary shares in the company, new ordinary shares, instead of cash dividends, and that such new ordinary shares be credited as fully paid, which, when issued, shall rank pari passu in all respects with the company's existing ordinary shares. That the election to receive ordinary share instead of cash dividend shall have been exercised on or before the 12th of April 2022. That the new ordinary shares to be received by shareholders shall be determined by their cash dividend entitlements divided by reference share price, which reference share price shall be the 10-day average of the company's closing share prices on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, starting on the 10th of March, and it closed on the 20th of March. That further to the above approval, the directors be, and they are hereby authorized to allot the shares to shareholders who elected to receive ordinary shares in the company in lieu of cash dividend, such number of new ordinary shares, and shall be determined by the directors in the manner aforesaid. C, that the directors be, and they are hereby authorized to take all necessary steps to give effect to the above resolutions, and that all steps already taken by the directors in that regard be and they are hereby ratified. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Thank you. Thank you very much.
That what we stated early in the morning should be taken into consideration.
Okay.
The board have to go back on the way forward. This should not recurring on this year that is going to end
Okay.
by December 2022.
Okay.
I hereby second that motion. Boniface, okay.
All right, Boniface. Okay. Are there any questions? And now, yes.
Can we get what the average price for the period is?
The average price, yes. We have it somewhere.
Yes.
The average price, 45 naira. 45 naira 11 kobo. It was 45 naira 11 kobo. That's the average price. Because it was an audited too. So whoever wants to look at it. Thank you. Thank you. It's gone to 48 now. Okay, thank you. Will someone? Yes, it's already done. Any question before the motion is put? It's already been done. I now put the motion to the meeting. I hereby direct that the votes be taken forthwith by the use of the voting device given to you on arrival. The independent auditor will act as the scrutineer, and I invite the registrar to conduct the voting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If you are for that resolution, please press 1/A on the voting device. If you are against, please press 2/B.
As if voting.
Please open the poll. Okay. We've gotten 8 responses already. Eight responses. 9 responses. 9 responses. 10 responses already. Okay. Count down, please. Two seconds left. Time up. Please display the results. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 205 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present, with the total number of shares of 5,115,044,278, while we have only 3 shareholders voting against the resolution, and they have 82,901 units. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the results as verified by the independent auditor, I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you very much. Eva, you wanted to? Okay.
Chairman, again for the record, my name's Nona Awu.
Nona Awu.
Yeah,
thank you.
Now that we have the results, it's also important that we relate it to the issue that we talked about for the need for this not to continue. Because if you look at page 129, you find that a class of shareholders have been disenfranchised from this, even if they wanted to. The number of units that they have cannot accommodate this offer. That is what it means. Because if you look at here, people with 1,000 and below will be earning how much? Okay, so it's important that when we take decisions, that we make sure that some persons don't get disqualified.
We'll look at this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your observation. Good point. 1,000 and below, okay? Fractions would be, okay, that's good. The dividend would not qualify, because the dividend they can't buy one because it's 45 naira, except they can buy non-awards fraction. And he won't be quite happy to sell to them. Ever supporting fellow shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, we have dealt with the formal business, and I would like to thank you on behalf of the board, management, and staff at all levels for your continuing interest in the company's affairs. I enjoin each of us to please continue to stay safe and remain healthy. I now declare the meeting closed.
And producing the finest quality drinks for Nigerians and for Nigeria. We move forward with renewed vigor and strength. We are pace setters. We are Nigerian Breweries, celebrating 75 years of refreshing lives.
Today is a happy, happy, happy day. So let me start by saying happy 75th anniversary, Nigerian Breweries. We're gathered here for a simple but significant event. The world we are in today is in a race against the clock to reduce the effects of climate change. Which is why we decided to mark our anniversary with a tree planting campaign in all our breweries locations nationwide.
are here to stay. We're going to grow with the country. We're not just looking at our own bottom line. We're looking at the entire growth of the entire economy.
What we've done today, planting trees, we hope to ensure that our globe sustains for yet another 75, 150 years, and our generations yet unborn shall always come in and also enjoy the value, the life, the joys we put in the life of people.
To weather the storms of Nigeria, to grow with Nigeria, to grow with Nigerians, to grow together, to become the formidable market leader we are today, is indeed a very, very proud moment for all of us and a day that we should celebrate. So for that, a big cheers. Thank you to all. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you.
Beer flavored with tequila, made to be different. Desperados.
I used to care for the world's opinion. I used to beg for validation. But the fire that burned in me was hotter, and the passion that lived in me had a voice of its own. So I stopped waiting and started to act. I stopped fearing and started to live. And when they thought I would fail, I stepped into my power.
Because my time is now.
Amstel Malta, be your best.
Enjoy Maltina in vanilla and pineapple. Maltina, share happiness.
At the core of what we do, we are proudly Nigerian. Innovative, resilient, driven by empathy, and very big on sustainability. We work hard, but play even harder. With a robust portfolio of 19 brands providing enjoyment to our teeming consumers. We have consistently introduced new methods of operations, brands, and variants, listening to feedback and satisfying our ever-changing customer base. It has been an exciting journey since we rolled out the first Star Lager bottle, Shine Shine Bobo, from our first brewery in Egamo, Lagos, and delivered a year later the iconic Star commercial. Today, we have our footprints across the country with 9 state-of-the-art breweries and 1 malting plant, 2 distribution centers, and 20 depots, all creating more than 279,000 jobs, whilst partnering with thousands of distributors and transporters. We have been recognized both locally and internationally, receiving hundreds of awards for excellent product quality, marketing excellence, productivity and innovation, the capital market, health and safety protocols, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and so much more. It's time for us to celebrate being here for 75 wonderful years, bringing excitement to our customers of different tastes and flavors.